We're going to talk some Big Ten Conference odds, predictions.
Okay.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. That way you never miss one of our brand new shows, the Picks and Parlays Power Hour. We're talking football Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to jam that bell for notifications.
Where you're going with the Big Ten, what are you thinking? My Michigan State Spartans are in the Big Ten, so fair warning, tread lightly. Don't beat us up too bad. I think we're going to be good this year, but I'm gonna resort to the expert here. Lee, talk to me about the Big Ten. What are you thinking here?
Well, we looked at a couple predictions here for the listeners, and we've come up with 3 of them. I'm not going to venture into who's going to win the outright title as the favorite. Ohio State, obviously the favorite. They were 11-2 last year. They didn't win it. They returned 76% of their production. They scored 45.7 points per game, which was first in the nation. They averaged more yards than anybody else in the country. Their defense was down a little bit, but again, they bring back nearly everybody, and they're one of the favorites to win it again, win the national championship this year. So I'm going to eliminate them. I'm not going to tie up money in a future bet on Ohio State to win it all, win the Big Ten this season. As a long shot, I do like the Wisconsin Badgers at plus 1,200. I do feel it's got to be somebody that comes out of the West because, again, it's Ohio State's coming out of the other side. If you go back to 2011, the Badgers have made it to the Big Ten championship game 6 times, the same as Ohio State. The Buckeyes have won it 5 times, Wisconsin just 2. The Badgers have some concerns on offense. Quarterback Graham Mertz is their big question mark. He threw 10 interceptions last year to just 9 touchdowns. They ranked 52nd in offensive efficiency. They had the 18th best rushing attack, though, in yards per game. They averaged 210 yards per game rushing, but they did rank 117th in passing. So he's got to be much better if Wisconsin expects to get to the Big Ten championship game. They'll rely on the running game with Braylon Allen. He's one of the best running backs in the country. He had over 1,200 yards last year. He averaged 6.8 yards per attempt, and he had 12 rushing TDs. The defenses, again, will be outstanding under Jim Leonard. They were one of the best in the nation a year ago. They allowed 7 or fewer points in 5 of 13 games, 16 points or less in 9 games, gave up just 16.2 points per game, which was 3rd best in college football. Okay. They were the 3rd best defensive efficiency. They kept opponents' offenses off the field. They were 4th and 3rd down conversions against. So we like that. Their defense is loaded again this year. They typically don't lose at home. They're 61-11 straight up at home since 2011, and they've won those games by an average of 21.4 points per game. In the last 10 years, they have the 11th best overall record in college football at 104-39, and they've won those games by 14.4 points per game. Only Ohio State is the other Big Ten team that's better than Wisconsin when it comes to, their total wins and winning percentage. So Wisconsin at plus 1,200 seems like a decent long shot for us this year.
I like the odds there for sure. Talk to me about this Heisman prediction here a little bit. I like CJ Stroud. In a Heisman, I mean, I could see it. I see it. I don't. Talk to me about that, though.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to him or Bryce Young out of Alabama. Mm-hmm. Again, we talked about Ohio State's offensive numbers. They had the best offense in the country last year, put up huge numbers as far as yards per game and points per game. Stroud completed nearly 71% of his passes for over 3,800 yards. He had 38 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. Those are kind of Aaron Rodgers-like numbers. So, if they get to that Final Four again and he puts up those kind of numbers, I'm going to say he's got a really good shot.
Yeah. And Purdue over 7.5 wins. I don't know, not to give up too much backstage stuff, but when we talked about this and you emailed me over and I'm typing this stuff in and I'm going, Purdue, okay, Lee, I see you. I see what you're thinking here. Talk to me about that.
So I like them over 7.5 wins. They were 9-4 straight up a year ago. Mm-hmm. Their offensive efficiency numbers were really good. They were top 31 in both defensive and offensive efficiency per Football Outsiders. They returned 70% of their production from last year's squad. They have a favorable schedule. They don't face Michigan State, or Ohio State, and they get Penn State and Iowa at home. and they have a great quarterback in O'Connell who threw for over 3,700 yards last year with a 23-8 touchdown interception ratio.
I tell you what, I think they're sneaky good.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a mean way, Purdue fans. I think you're good. I just think people underestimate how good you could be. And with the easier schedule, I kind of like that. And I didn't really look at a few. I don't do a whole lot of futures, just being honest with you guys. But this right here, the over 7.5 wins, I was surprised it wasn't like more of like a 8.5, 8. So the 7.5, I really like that number. Lee, I appreciate you stopping by and dropping knowledge on us as always. Tell us what you got going on over at Picks and Parlays, where we can find you over there on the leaderboards and all that good stuff.
Yep, we're putting up picks daily in baseball, and we do have our first preseason selection up, so they can check that out. And as always, we'll be there every day, so that's where to go to look. Right,
and don't forget when you're looking for Lee over at ASA or any of our other premium handicappers for that matter, use the promo code CFL. That'll save you 20% off the entire site. I appreciate you stopping by. We're going to move on to the next segment there, my friend. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep.